In this next video, I want to talk a little bit about variables. Now variables, if we click on the variables button there, you can see we can make them and we can have variables to store lots of different things. So we're going to use it to store a score, but you might also use it to store like health, the value of your health, or how many lives you've got. And these are all things that you can build into your game later on. I'm going to make a variable to start off with, and I'm going to call it score. And as soon as you click on OK, you'll see that you get a few options available, and you can see that I can make the score appear in the top corner, or by unticking it, it'll disappear. At the start of the game, when I set up my pacman to go into the corner and to display, to show, I'm going to also set the score to 0. Game Pac-Man, he goes around the maze, and to increase the score, you eat the little dots of food. So to make those, first of all, I'm going to paint a new sprite, and I'm just going to make a little circle. You can make it yellow. I'm just going to make mine blue for now. And it looks something like that. Obviously, I'm going to have to shrink this down to an appropriate size, like so. And I'm going to move it so that it appears somewhere in the path for Pac-Man, ready for him to eat it. Now, this next bit is very similar to how we did the game over section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say when the game is started, I'm going to do some sensing, and I want to see when the piece of food is touching Pac-Man or Sprite 1. I'm going to use a forever if, because again, just like with the game over, I want to keep asking that question. I don't just want to ask it once, except this time if he eats the food, I want it to disappear, to hide, but I also want it to increase the score or change the score by 1. Now obviously you could do yours differently. You could have it 5 points for every time you eat something, or 10 points. I'm going to keep mine as 1 for now. And don't forget to make sure that at the start, when the game has started, before we go into that loop, make sure you show the piece of food, otherwise it will never appear again. Okay, so it will look something like this now. So when I run the game, as soon as it eats the food, you can see that it's disappeared, and my score's gone up to 1. I'll start the game again. You can see the score 0. You go over the piece of food, it disappears, and the score goes to 1. So now, once I've got that working, and I've got that piece of code on there, I want to create more bits of food and place them around the maze. So to do that, I can either right click and duplicate, and then I can move that piece of food to a different point in the maze, or I can use my clone button and do the same thing and just pop them around the maze, and you can create as many as you want. Piece of advice though, make sure when you're doing this, when you're duplicating them, put the code on first, because otherwise for every single piece of food, if you put 50 in your maze, you'll need to go through and put that piece of code 50 times on every single sprite. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to click on the green flag, and as soon as I eat every piece of food, you can see my scores going up, and there we go. I've got all 6 pieces of food. I've actually got to 6.